It's not just in your head. Something feels off with money right now. You're working harder, you're earning more, but somehow you're falling further behind. Groceries are up, rent is insane, and your paycheck looks the exact same. And that dream house, it might as well be a fantasy. Meanwhile, you scroll through social media and you see people your age and younger in their penthouse apartments driving nicer, newer cars than you, showing off their shopping hauls and vacationing in places that you didn't even know existed. And you're still sitting there wondering how you're gonna cover rent and your credit card bill in the same month. And look, here's the truth, you're not crazy. In fact, 95% of American workers say that their wages have not kept up with the cost of living. And 81% report that even with raises, inflation is still outpacing their income. And today we're gonna break down exactly why that is, what's really happening with wages, cost of living, debt, social media pressure, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it. Let's start with the root of the problem. Your money doesn't stretch like it used to. According to a 2025 MarketWatch survey, 57% of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck. From 2006 to 2025, average US wages rose by about 79%, but after adjusting for inflation, real purchasing power increased just 12%, which is less than 1% growth year over year for nearly 2 decades. And that said, there are signs of improvement. In Q1 2025, real median weekly earnings rose 4.8% year over year, while inflation remained around 2.7%. Between May 2024 and May 2025, real average hourly earnings increased 1.8%, and real weekly earnings rose 1.5% inflation adjusted. So yes, real wages are starting to grow again, but after decades of stagnation, these modest gains aren't enough to recover what's already been lost. You might be earning more dollars on paper, but those dollars buy you less than ever before. And inflation, which peaked at 9% in 2022, didn't just shrink savings, it erased the value of your work. For years, it's felt like no matter how hard you work, you're stuck running in place. And for a while, it looked like we might never catch up. But let's be honest, not everybody is losing. Since 1979, the top 1% of earners saw real wage gains of 138%, but the bottom 90%, only 15%. And today, middle-class households make 5.8% less in real terms than they did 50 years ago. So yes, people are making more money, but the rich are pulling away while everybody else treads water. Now here's the twist. In March of 2025, we finally saw a shift. Wages grew by 4.3% and inflation came in at just 2.4%. That's the first time since January of 2023 that wage growth consistently beat inflation. But don't celebrate quite yet, because while that sounds like progress, it's like trying to bail out a sinking ship with a plastic cup. After years of falling behind, 1 or 2 good months cannot reverse the damage. Rent is still higher, debt is still heavier, and essentials still cost a whole heck of a lot more. You may be treading water slightly less, but you're still not on dry land. Let's break down where your money is actually going and why it feels like you're losing it faster than you can earn it. First, debt. As of Q1 2025, U.S. household debt reached a record $18.2 trillion, with $13.2 trillion tied to housing debt and another $5 trillion in non-housing debt like credit cards, auto loans, and personal loans. Credit card debt equates to $1.21 trillion, which is also, if you didn't know, at an all-time high. And the average credit card APR is now over 24%, meaning if you carry a balance, your interest is growing faster than your paycheck. Meanwhile, rent has surged 26% since 2020 in many cities. And in places like Atlanta, rent has grown 3 times faster than wages over the last 4 years. Groceries are up 25 to 28% since 2020, and core expenses like childcare, health insurance, and transportation are now over 50% more expensive than they were in 2001. So when you wonder why you feel broke, it isn't poor money habits. The math is just different now. And here's the hidden trap. It's not just that you're spending more, you're borrowing more. Buy now, pay later services like Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay skyrocketed from $2 billion in 2021 to over $46 billion by 2024. And it isn't luxury items that people are financing anymore. It's literally groceries. People are literally using Klarna to split up their Instacart or their DoorDash orders into multiple different payments. That is how normalized debt has become in America. And even more alarming, 41 81% of buy now and pay later users have already missed at least one payment, putting them at risk of late fees, credit score drops, and a cycle that they cannot escape. And that's just one part of the story. At the same time, credit card debt has exploded. In mid-2023, US credit card debt crossed $1 trillion for the first time ever. By 2025, it hit $1.182 trillion, nearly $200 billion more in just 2 years. Let that number sink in for a minute. We're talking about $200 billion in 2 years. According to Forbes, the entire value of every major US sports team, NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL combined is $190 billion. You could literally buy every pro team in America and still have billions of dollars left over. That is how massive this credit card bubble is. Now back to reality. More than half of credit card users now carry a balance month to month, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Credit cards are now the #1 source of unsecured debt, despite the fact that the average APRs are over 20% and many are pushing past 24%. But when you open your phone, it doesn't look like anyone's struggling. Why is that? Because everybody looks like they're freaking winning. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you see your friends traveling, shopping, dining at the best restaurants in the world, smiling while they do it. But here's the truth. You're comparing your reality to somebody else's highlight reel funded by debt that you'll never see. And in today's world, perception has become more powerful than the truth itself. Behind the filters and the flexes, millions of Americans are quietly financing their lifestyle, drowning in invisible debt while projecting an image of success. And it's influencing real behavior for people like you and me. According to a study from NASDAQ, 48% of millennials have taken on debt just to keep up with the lifestyle of their peers. Social platforms are now driving billions of dollars in spending every single year. Globally, social commerce is expected to reach $1.2 trillion by 2025. And while Gen Z and millennials are leading the charge, 34% of US consumers aged 18 to 34 are making purchases on social media weekly, and older generations are quickly catching up. We're not spending to survive, we're spending and borrowing to impress people who might be doing the exact same thing. And that's one of the most dangerous financial traps of our time. And here's the other harsh truth. Owning a home used to be the foundation of the American dream and a milestone in your 20s. And now it's more like a fantasy. In the 1990s, the average first-time homebuyer was 28 years old. Today, the median age of a first-time homebuyer has climbed to 38 years old, and many are waiting into their 40s, according to NBC. In 2024, first-time buyers made up just 24% of all home purchases, according to the National Association of Realtors, which is a sharp decline from the historical average of around 40%. And this marks the lowest share ever recorded since the NAR began tracking the data back in 1981. Just 33% of 30-year-olds in the US own a home today, down from 47% in 1984 as the typical age of first-time homebuyers continues to rise. But this isn't about prices going up, it's about what you're competing against. Over the past 4 decades, home values have skyrocketed, often outpacing both inflation and income growth. Between 1985 and 2023, the median home price rose by 408%, while median household income increased by only 241%, according to Statista. So even if you do everything right, save consistently, build credit, avoid debt, it can still feel impossible to catch up. And as more people rent longer, demand for rental housing stays high, fueling rent rates and repeating the cycle. So let's talk about the human cost behind the numbers. Roughly 23 million American households get hit with overdraft fees every single year, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That means about 1 in 4 households with a bank account is slipping into the red and paying for it. And at the same time, 24.6 million Americans currently have a personal loan, representing 9% of the adult population as of Q1 of 2025. And people are working harder than ever just to stay afloat. In June of 2025, over 8.7 million Americans were holding multiple jobs. That's the highest number since the Great Recession. And a huge number of people aren't just tired, they're totally dissatisfied. Roughly 48% of the total workforce say that they plan to search for a new job in the next year. And for most, the top reason is simple. They need more pay. And it's no surprise why. About 67% of Americans either don't have an emergency fund at all or don't have enough to cover 3 months of basic living expenses. And Dave Ramsey, He wouldn't be very happy about that. We're not just overworked, we're financially fragile, mentally drained, anxious, and one unexpected bill away from a crisis. And when you open your phone and you see everyone else seemingly thriving, the pressure only builds. So what do? You can't control inflation. You can't control the housing market. You can't control how much eggs cost next week. But here's what you can control. Live below your means, okay? Track every dollar. Don't just budget. Be intentional with your money. And a big one is avoid that lifestyle creep. Just because you got a raise doesn't mean that you need a brand new BMW. Living below your means isn't about deprivation. It is about financial freedom. Buy assets, not stuff. Redirect that margin that you have into assets. Start with index funds. You can invest in things like the VTI or any S&P 500 index that has performed phenomenally over the last 50 years. You can explore REITs or fractional real estate, or if you really want to, you can go buy an investment property. Avoid shiny objects. Focus on what actually grows in value. Inflation hurts consumers, but inflation's honestly pretty good for people that own assets, which are investors. And lastly, you've got to grow your income. If you can't cut anymore, then you have to earn more. So what you can do is you can go to your employer and ask them for a raise. You can learn a new high income skill. You can launch a side hustle. In 2025, it is more accessible than ever to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month if you're willing to be resourceful and potentially learn a new skill. The rich aren't necessarily smarter. They're just leveraging their income differently, and they're tracking everything and living below their means. So look, yes, wages have fallen behind. Yes, the debt is rising. Yes, the cost of living is crushing, but you still have a way out. It isn't flashy or glamorous, it's not overnight, and it's definitely not what social media wants to sell you. But the truth is, if you spend less than you make, you invest in things like assets, and you grow your income over time, you will eventually win. So if this video helped you reframe your money mindset, drop in the comments section down below. What are you doing in 2025 to make sure that you're making more money that you make and that you don't end up with more month at the end of the money? Because too many Americans right now have that problem, and I don't know about you, but I want to do my absolute best to make sure that I'm investing money every single month that will compound over the next 20 or 30 years of my life. We'd love to hear your comments down below. Like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you have not already, and I'll look forward to seeing you in a future video.